Hello YouTube, today will be a very special episode of locomotive painting and rant. Please forgive the rant, I am not good with rants yet, so stay tuned. There we go. Kill. One.
The doors are closing.
Okay, I fixed the system. In the previous one I was doing, I was saying how you said, well, I'll just be starting it over again. Well, I've just, in the previous one, I've just finished this up, so ain't too much there now to show you. But you can basically see the stripe. ATSF silver. This is forest green, which is this one. Pretty good paint. This is, I suggest using this company for your model paint. It's Badger Precise Design Model. It's water-based acrylic hobby paint film. Comes in tremendous handy. Now, a good hobbyist has two primary paint brushes. One's of wide origin and one's of small origin to get the hard to reach places, such as cracks and crevices or window posts, like, oh wait, this side's dry, so just like this. But time to do the stripe. Now, one thing I suggest is eliminate the process of elimination. Eliminate all your wide brushes and big brushes, like this big one. Don't need anything like that. Don't need anything like these. Too big, too wide, nope. Okay, brushes are eliminated to 3. Now, only one of these 3 will gain trust of the hobbyist. Always trust your bus. Don't trust it, you mess up. Very common incident with a lot of hobbyists. Those old guys don't even understand, because they don't trust their buses. They trust themselves. Negative. Eliminated. Eliminated. That is the one thing that I don't like about the old fogies. They think they are just too high strung, that they can do anything they want. Negative. Well, all buses have been eliminated. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. So sorry about that. But listen to me, I'm now ranting. Ay, ay, ay. I'm not really one to rant. But when there's stuff that I don't like, I will rant. Stupid me. I can't access the repair center, so just gonna have to stick these here. But these special buses that you see here, you can get at any hobby store. They do come in handy. The helping hands, another thing you must get. Has magnifying glasses, the magnifying glass, and prongs to help hold stuff. Now, believe it's this one. Nope. Which means it's this one. Now, time to get into it, shall we? Some of you may be asking me, what does it take to be a good model painter? Practice, patience, nerves of steel, and a steady hand. Now, some of you may be asking, telling me, look who's talking. Yes, it is true. I don't have the best steadiness right now. Since I used to eat so much, my body goes into spasms. Because it's not eating like it used to. Now, don't be afraid to use your middle finger. Middle finger is indeed the strongest finger to use during hobby painting. That's one thing that people have asked me. How do I keep my locomotive steady while painting? And I keep telling them, use your middle finger. Comes in handy. If not, your locomotive is gonna go all over the place instead of where you want it. Oh boy. I don't think silver's gonna look nice on this. Oh, drat. $4. Ay, 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 ay. Now, I don't suggest doing that. Because as you will now be seeing, I'll be going over it with the forest green again. Drat. If it's like that, then I'm better off using the B&O gold. I was wanting unique colors. But trial and error. You try, you will fail. Now, I have done rail cars before, so I know exactly what I'm doing. I will be showing you some of my work that I've done. This is one of them. It is a Pullman observation in the very first colors for Pullman: wolf brown, oxide red, and olive green. That's one. Two. Three. And number 4. Okay, 4 cars. Okay, 4 tries, got it successful. This is my very first locomotive. Now, since this is in repair, here it is. This is the chassis, the guts, and everything of that locomotive. This DCC board, as you see here, that will no longer remain. That will be totally gone. I am going to get some boards from Walthers or the NCC company. And get them properly sounded, with the engine startup and the engine set down. Number 2, the motor is fried. Whoever owned it before me did not take good care of it. abuse it. So it's going to be repaired and brought back to life. This is not the best system. It was made by Bachman. Bachman is crap. I hate Bachman. Bachman has this soundtracks tips in it. Does not sound clean. Does not sound appropriate. But I gotta admit, they have beautiful bodies, which you can see here. I'm not talking about like this. No, no, no. That would be considered illegal. This is a body. There are multiple names for it. There's the body, and there's the cell. The cell is... I don't like the name. I don't like the term at all. On the railroads, we call them bodies. Then there's the electric components, the mechanical parts of it, which I like to call it the guts. Because each and every one of these is equivalent to our guts. There's the motor for tracks, for the basically the muscles of the train, if you will. There's the wires, just like our blood veins brings the power, or in our case blood, to and from the heart, which the heart is this here board. And then there's the bogies, the trucks. They're pivoted just like our joints. And then there's the wheels, our arms and legs basically. So in my case, this is why I tell everyone that trains are just like us. Which, if you've seen this video, then you will hopefully understand. But yeah, that is that. And it is, believe it or not, dry. Except for the back part. Ah, good. You're going to be able to witness some touch-up work. Always comes in handy to let your work dry fully. Because when it dries, you can witness your mistakes that you've made. And then you got the chance to re-correct those mistakes. Clean it off, if you will. Basically. see how I'm not talking and while doing this? It's because when you have a good hobby, your the lights are on, but no one's home mentally, because you're zoned in. You ignore everything else around you, and you just focus on what you're doing. That's one reason why you should always have a hobby. To some of you furs, it's fursuiting. It's always good to have a fallback, and trains is the best way, because you zone in. You focus on what you're doing, because if not, the locomotive will chew you up and spit you out. There we go. Just like that. That's the way you do it by the book. Hobbies are good. If you have the right kind of hobby, you'll be fine. If you don't, you won't zone in. Take trains, for instance. They are a good hobby. They're powerful, they're strong, and if you're not running them right, they'll let you know by making groans. When those groans start getting made, you know you better take it easy. It's one of the reasons why I love trains. It's because if you don't run them properly, they'll chew you up and spit you out like a Sunday breakfast. But that's how it looks. I've also post photos of the project on Twitter. So if you ever want to see how it used to look like, please check Twitter on my account on Safety Circle 1, because that's how I roll. Oh. This is how I roll. Now, if you ever want to know right where a hobby store is, please check out walthers.com. This is a Walthers product. This is the Proto 2000 series. Walthers does good, especially on their locomotives, like this one. It's very heavy. It's really heavy duty. Very well built in my standards. It is a great looking locomotive, as you can see. Very well constructed, unlike this Bachmann locomotive. It is crap. Literally. I mean, this is the worst money I have ever spent on a locomotive. This locomotive right here that I'm holding in hand right now, this F7 unit. You wanna know how much this costed me? Used? $200-300. $200 to $300. Pretty good price, depending on how well it looks. Always go to a hobby store and see their used locomotives. On the bottom, they will have a tag that says what the code is to access the locomotive, which when I got it, it used to be the road number 364, which is no longer active for this locomotive. I have it under a different number now. That's the one thing about DCC trains, is you can actually renumber them to whatever you want. It's a wonderful locomotive. The ditch lights work. This one is literally the ditch lights. This one is the running light. Strange, huh? You would think the big one was the running light and the small one would be the ditch. Nope. But very good locomotive, pretty heavy duty, very well designed. And then there's lightweight Bachmann. Look at that. Can't really do that with this one. That's how you can tell it's well designed. Well populated. If it's well designed, it's heavier. That you can't really bounce it on your hand. Like this F7. With this S2, you can literally bounce it on your hand. That means it's crappy. Don't buy. Now, like I said already, I am going to be redoing this locomotive, so it's going to be heavier, like this locomotive here. The best way by doing so is just adding more weight to it. More weight, better it becomes. More traction it has. Like this F7. since it's very heavy, it's got good traction, making it go faster. But one problem: the top speed for it is 75 miles per hour. Not real world miles per hour, but it's pretty fast. Our speed in real world, it would be about 5 miles per hour. Then it becomes 75. You can see right where the difference is. 5 miles per hour versus the speed for it. For this here locomotive, if I do Shift 11, F11, or F1, basically, function 1, I got the speed readout, so it's wonderful. Now with this S2, this Alco S2, as you see here, I don't have that ability. There is no F1. There's no function 1. So I don't know how fast it's going. Unless I, personally, rework my train table to have a speedometer system which will monitor how fast every train is going at all times, which is a lot of money to get that system, which right now I personally do not have the money for. What's in that there U-turn system is the money for my fursuit, which right now it's got, I'm not going to say how much it's got, really. But right now I'm still trying to work on it. So far I'm doing very good. I'm trying my hardest to save the money, because when I get this fursuit, I'll be doing a lot of stuff. When I get the fursuit, it will be going to schools as well, teaching kids railroad safety. I will also be going to senior centers and teaching the seniors rail safety, because did you know that the #1 cause of rail incidents every year is due to the old fogies? The old people are very well known to avoid the modern day guard systems, such as the gates, the lights, the bells, all of that. They go around it, or try to beat it. Unsafe. Kids have also been walking tracks, which is very, very deadly. Trains are silent when they're long distance. You won't be able to hear them until they're right over you. Literally right over you. Such as if it was way over here and I might hear, I won't be able to hear it until bam, literally like that. Then I'm able to hear it. By then I would be dead. Literally, they are that stealthy. the bigger the object, to some people, the bigger the object, the easier it's to hear. Not true. Not true at all. The bigger the object, the harder it is to hear. Harder, not easier. Each locomotive, you know how much one of the locomotives, one of the real locomotives like this weighs? Think along the lines of 100 to 200 tons of cold hard steel. Metal wheels on metal rails, not easy to stop. Literally. Take these two rates here for example. Look at that. No traction. Absolutely none whatsoever. So think of a 100 to 200 ton train trying to stop like this. Impossible. You can't stop. Not on a dime. Now, you're probably saying, why don't they not have rubber on the tires? Impossible. Metal wheels on metal rails. With the tonnage of a train, of the locomotive alone, the rubber will literally melt. Think of this here light, for instance. Since I have an ultra bright light on it, that is an energy saver. Would you put your hand on a stove when it's still lit? Now, I'm used to this. Don't try this at home. You will get burned. See? Look at that. Well, right there. Another good way to show how it is. Now, cracker, meet fire. Look at that. See? Bam. That's how the rubber would look when it's rolling on the rails. Like that. Now the smoke from the cookie, from the cracker, would smell like burnt rubber. I mean, literally, look at that. It's crisp. It's burnt. Just think of having rubber on the tracks constantly. Not good. And since it's an environmental impact, the railroad can get sued and fined a lot of money for having burnt rubber on rails constantly. Now, if you ever walk on the tracks, be wary that when you do so, you are not only gonna get yourself killed, but you also gonna most likely get the crew of the train killed as well. Why that is, it's because I will now demonstrate to you with these here two Pullman cars. Now, when the engineer inside the cab hits those brakes hard, you know what the one risk is? When that train's brakes start squealing like there was wildfire, that train, that locomotive, is gonna push on these here couplers. These here couplers. The knuckles. Which then you got two rail cars literally pushing one another along. Eventually, if that engineer don't release the brakes and then do it again, you know what's gonna happen? That said train will literally pop off the rails. The locomotive goes one way, the rail, and cause a major collision. Like this. Sometimes it can get worse. The locomotive can end up like this. Rail car like that. Well, actually more like along the lines of like that. And then another one literally on top like that. While a lot more cars would be surrounding it. Pretend that this is a car. This is a car. This is a car. It can be very, very deadly. Now think if these were passenger cars. You would have a lot of people dead. You would have tremendous amounts of people dead. Why is that? Because you decided to walk the tracks. Not worth it. It could be your friends, it could be your family. See tracks, think trains. Think of this replicated disaster. Not worth it. Not worth tossing your life away like that. Think of the crew, the train crew. A lot of engineers are married. So think on how your family's gonna react to know that their kid killed a family man or a family lady, family wife. the person is not gonna like your parents or your grandparents for that matter. They're not forgiving. Trains are no laughing matter. Trust me, I should know. Every waking day that I try to look for a wife, I think, what if I die on a train because of some stupid kid walking the track? Or something else. Something much worse. She would be a widow. Think about it. You would be basically ruining your family's image. Which means wherever you go, wherever your family goes, they will have a scar on their name. Now, if for some reason you do survive, that family's not going to be happy with you. You will receive lawsuits left and right. Front, back, left, right, front, and center. And no simple money, no. No, no. We're talking about millions and millions of hard-earned money. You know how much it is to pay for a new locomotive when you just trashed one? Every locomotive costs mega money. This was a real locomotive. You know how much this would be? Over $100,000. Every single piece of rolling stock. If this was real, you know how much this would be? $500,000. Sometimes more, depending on who the manufacturer is. Just like fursuits, each maker is different. Every company is different for locomotives and for rolling stock. Like TTX. You know how much one of their boxcars cost? $50,000. No cheap price. And on top of it, the tracks. Every accident, you have to repair the tracks, which means stripping out the old tracks and replacing it with new. No simple task. There's the concrete ties, which are $2,000-3,000, and then on top of it all, there's the special bolts, the special clips, the special rails. There's everything like that. Which one little section of track, you know how much it costs? I will tell you, it is not cheap. Not cheap at all. Trust me. I used to know. It's no laughing matter. When you know the stuff that I know, no laughing matter. It is bad. Trains are no laughing matter. Just like me and my old girl, which was a 22-ton X third rail locomotive. I used to take so good care of that old girl. Each train is unique in its own. You may be asking me, or you may be saying right now, that if you're so upset with the subject, why not do something about it? Like go get a partition made. Stupid idea. Those things never work. Partitions never work. Look, laws don't work either. People love to break the law. They see it as a thrill. Major thrill to get their juices pumping. Look at what happened in 2010. Brakeman was doing his job, applying handbrakes on his train, when he was struck and killed by a train on the adjacent track. Railroading is dangerous. Treat the trains with respect, and you will learn the true meaning of friendship. No. Guess what? Come on. There we go. There we have it. C is done. C is done. Now, before I close this out, you want to see exactly how hot this is? Watch this. Melts. Immediately melts. Don't believe it? Watch this. And damn. Look at that. Evaporates. And great. Brat. And I spent millions of money on this. Damn. Great. Shoot. Well, thank God that this was sealed. This is why I don't like corded cams. Well, sorry about the rant, but it needed to be said. Well, if If you like this video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to me, please do so. And I will see you later. Goodbye.